I have a heartbreaking story to share with you out of Fort Worth, Texas. A young mother, a mother of 4 daughters, shot and killed a 14-year-old child. She admitted that she did the killing, but she said that it was in defense of her daughter or in defense of herself and the rest of her children. So I want to talk about whether or not this was murder or whether it was justifiable self-defense or defense of others. Stay around. So let me say, first of all, there are no winners in a case like this, none whatsoever. So we're going to look at it and spend a few minutes talking about what self-defense is and how, when you are, hopefully you're never in this situation, but if you're ever in a situation like that, you can know whether or not you need to pull the trigger, because just being in a situation like this can be devastating, as we shall see in just a moment. All right, my name is Augustus Corbett. I am an attorney here in Dallas, Texas, and I'm one half of the Defiant Lawyers. And each and every week, we bring you a legal analysis of some trending story related to politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you to defy an unjust legal system and to nullify systemic racism. If that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and share, comment, and click the bell so you get notified when we upload one of these videos. All right, so like I said, there are no winners in this case, and I want to just say right off the bat, my sincerest and deepest condolences go to the family of the 14-year-old child that was killed in this incident. This happened December 14th, 2023, here in the DFW area, Fort Worth to be specific. Very sad story. And it has issues of race and economics and the law all wrapped up in a very sad story, heartbreaking story, quite frankly. No winners, like I said. So again, to the family of this young man, if you were to see this video, my deepest and sincerest condolences go to your family. And nothing that I will say in this video will help alleviate that pain, nor do I intend for anything that I say in this video to cause you more pain. My heart goes out to you. All right, so let's get into this story. Again, a young mother shot and killed a 14-year-old child in what she says was self-defense. And I'm going to look at this as an attorney. And the first thing that I want to say is I wish this young lady had not spoken to the media. Let me say that off the bat. A lot of times when folks are in situations like this, they think they're doing themselves some good by speaking to the media. My strong advice is not to do that. Even if you think you're innocent, even if you think you're not guilty, do not speak to anyone. Talk with a lawyer immediately, okay? And so let's look at this. Let's pull this story up.
I was cleaning my living room, sweeping my floor, and I heard her window start going back up. So I went and I looked in the hallway, and I could see him standing at the window, lifting it up, and I just shot.
Gunshots that killed 14-year-old Devin Baker at the bedroom window of Aaliyah Wallace's 8-year-old daughter early morning, December 14th.
It's bothering me that he was a kid.
The incident happened not long after police left Wallace's home after responding to her 911 call about someone trying to break into her duplex.
So I called him at 1:22 a.m. We talked for 30 minutes. They did a report, took pictures of everything, and then they left.
I believe there were reports that you had been burglarized or attempted burglaries before.
Yes, I have 3 or 4 police reports before this night.
So what has happened since this incident?
The apartment called and told me that I was not supposed to have a gun at all, even though I kept calling them and telling them somebody was breaking in. They told me I could not have a gun and that I have 30 days to vacate.
All right, so let's look at this. All right, this young woman says that her daughter was in the bed asleep and she heard somebody lifting a window and she saw a young man lifting the window and she fired her gun that she had for protection. And she says that there had been prior attempted break-ins before. Even that night, I think she said she called the police because there had been several attempted break-ins. So this is a low-income neighborhood. That's part of the economics that I was referring to. And she's in federally assisted government housing. Again, so there's poverty here, there's race here. And because she used her gun in self-defense, you heard her say that the apartment complex is now asking her to vacate the property. This case is going to a grand jury. The police hasn't filed any charges, but they are going to refer it to the DA's office, and the DA is going to present it to a grand jury. So she may come out of this without a criminal charge. I don't know. I think so, just based on what I know. I would think that she would not be indicted, but I don't know. I can't really say. And part of the reason I can't say is because, let's be honest, she's an African-American woman and she is accused of killing an African-American, and I'm presuming that, an African-American 14-year-old child. Look, when it comes to these gun laws, oftentimes they are applied a lot different when the shooter and the victim are Black or victims. So I don't know how it's going to turn out, but the grand jury is going to look at this. Now, let's finish looking at this video, and then I want to look a little bit at what the self-defense statute says here in the state of Texas.
And how does that make you feel?
I feel like I'm back at square one. I've been there for 6 years, so now I don't know what to do.
This case is going to the grand jury. It's a referral, as they call it, and they're going to let citizens decide. What do you want people to know about you, Aaliyah Wallace?
That I was only protecting my kids. I have 4 daughters. It's just me and my 4 daughters that stay there. I just was protecting my daughters.
How do you feel about what happened?
I'm devastated that he was 14. I hate that. I literally do, and I'm so sorry. But at that point, I had to think about my babies. I didn't know he was 14 when he was on the other side of that window. All I knew that somebody could come in here and hurt me or my kids. That's it.
All right. So let's now look at what the law says about self-defense. And I told you, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. There is no way else to look at this. A 14-year-old child is dead. This young mother said she killed the young man not knowing that he was 14, and she did so, she said, because she was protecting her own family. Wow. No winners here. So what does the law say in Texas about self-defense? Now, the first thing I want you to realize here is the law is different in different states, okay? So you see the disclaimer at the bottom of this screen here. It says the following information is not intended to be legal advice or establish legal representation. Laws vary from state to state, so it's important that you consult a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction for legal advice. So I'm not giving legal advice, and you shouldn't take anything that I say as legal advice at all. Okay. All right. Now, that said, deadly force is typically justified in Texas when, and to the degree, that a person already has the right to defend him or herself from someone's immediate use of force. So with deadly force, the first thing that has to be in place is that the person has the right to defend himself in the first place. And a person typically has the right to defend himself from someone's immediate use of force. When the use of force is imminent, it's unlawful, it shouldn't be used against that person. When that's in place, then the use of deadly force may be justified. But first, there has to be the showing that a person has the right to just defend himself first before we get to the issue of the use of deadly force. So this goes on to say deadly force is typically justified when and to the degree a person already has the right to defend him or herself from someone's immediate use of force, and that person know or reasonably believe the other person is unlawfully in with force, number one, entering or attempting to enter their home, car, or workplace. This is commonly what we call stand your ground. And basically what it means is there is no requirement that a person has to retreat. A person can stand their ground and defend their home, their car, or their workplace from someone who the person knows or reasonably believes is unlawfully with force trying to enter or attempt to enter their home, their car, their workplace. Also, a person may use deadly force, again, if they have the right to defend themselves in the first place, and they know or reasonably believe the other person is unlawfully and with force removing or attempting to remove the person from their home, car, or workplace. So if somebody is trying to enter someone's home unlawfully and with force, or if someone is trying to remove another person from their home or car or workplace, or attempting to do that, then deadly force is typically justified. Or if a person knows or reasonably believes the other person is unlawfully and with force committing or attempting to commit aggravated kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, robbery, or aggravated robbery, then that person can use deadly force, again, assuming that they can use self-defense in the first place. All right, this is a very specific statute, and these conditions must be met. I have tried self-defense cases, and the facts is very fact-intensive, extremely fact-intensive. And even, by the way, in a state like Texas, where there's constitutional carry, and you think that the gun laws here are really relaxed. They are really relaxed in comparison, say, to New York or DC or some other jurisdiction. But I'm telling you, a person can be in serious trouble, even if the use of force in their minds was justified. Let me just put it like this. You want to hope, if you are a person who carries a firearm or who has a firearm in your home, you want to hope that you are never in the situation that this young mother was in, having to use your firearm, because any number of things could go wrong. And you see the police, although she thinks that it was a justifiable shooting, you may think so, but the district attorney's office is still going to present it to a grand jury. So this young mother still needs to right now have an attorney representing her in front of the grand jury. So that costs money. That could be $10, $15, $20, $25,000 by itself, even if it turns out that it was a justifiable shooting. And of course, the bullet, the round could have traveled to someone else's house and hurt or injured or killed someone else. So any number of things can go wrong in a situation like this, which is why you really want to hope that you're never, ever in this situation. Never. All right, now let's go back And one last caveat here. Again, if a person already has the right to use self-defense or defense of another, because here in Texas, you can use deadly force to defend someone else. In this case, this mother said that she was defending her daughter. So that's defense of someone else. And this is really similar if it is defense to someone else. There are some nuances, but it's pretty much similar. And so you have the right to defend yourself, and you reasonably believe the other person is unlawfully and with force. The last bullet point here is using or attempting to use deadly force against you. Then you would have a strong self-defense case for deadly force. Very strong case. But it still would be up to the grand jury. And that's where sometimes the trouble can be, because the grand jury all they need is probable cause to issue what we call a true bill of indictment. All they need, all they're looking for is, again, probable cause, which is a very low standard, just a very low standard. It's not like beyond a reasonable doubt that's needed to convict you of a crime. It is just probable cause. In other words, that you probably committed a crime. That's all they need to hand down a true bill of indictment. So these are fact-intensive cases. No one wants to ever be in a situation like this. It's horrible. There are no winners. None. This young mother and her children, she is not in a winning situation here. Certainly the young man lost his life. His family lost him. No winners whatsoever. And let me say in closing, the conditions and circumstances that brought all them together will be overlooked. You have a single Black mother here with 4 children. She's living in, it sounds like Section 8 housing or some sort of federal housing assistance. She is in a low-income neighborhood. The young man, I presume, is from that neighborhood too, perhaps. I'm not sure about that. But all those kinds of circumstances that brought them together, they will not be looked at. All that the police and the DA and others will look at is what happened in that instance. But what brought them together and precipitated and contextualized this whole matter won't be looked at. And that's the reason why we talk about defying an unjust legal system. It's why we talk about nullifying systemic racism, because it is systemic racism that creates the conditions for these kinds of situations to occur in the first place. But nobody cares, and nothing will be done about it. So these types of situations will just continue to happen. And that rubs me the wrong way. My prayers go out to this young mother, her children, definitely to this family who lost this young man, and everyone else who is involved in this matter. Thank you very much for listening to this video. Please leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Also, share, like the video, and just help me spread the word. We're trying to bring positive change in especially the African-American community. All right? Again, I am Attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Thank you for watching. You have a blessed day. Bye.